Yes, that was one of the places where Jackie and I bonded. We both loved to drink beer. We were the only two real beer drinkers on the show, and man, can we put it down. Hence the gut Jackie had. Trust me, it wasn't the food, it was the beer. I have that same gut now. Well, almost.
He's calling out Jackie for being fat, having a beer belly back then.
Yeah.
I don't know that this is the guy who wants to take shots at people for drinking beer and looking like shit because of it.
Mr. Toad making fun of Mr. Frog. Like,
right.
What the fuck?
So then John goes into how he worked harder than most interns. And he decided to come up with a theme song for the Howard Stern show.
Oh, God.
That he wrote and recorded.
This
is so embarrassing. I'm so glad that this is on tape. So he tries to write this song, and he starts talking about some of the lyrics that were in it.
He grew up with blacks. His mind was a mess. Poor little Jew boy thought he was a coon. Yes, people, those were the lyrics. I don't have a racist bone in my body, but I thought this was something that Howard would find funny.
Oh, okay. So he wrote these lyrics, and now he's saying, I don't even think it's funny, but Howard likes that style of humor. I wrote it because I thought he might like it. John, you wrote that because you thought it was funny.
Yeah.
It's fine. Just fess up. You thought that was a funny line. And we're talking about 1988 or 92 or whatever.
Right.
Gives a shit. It's a different world back then. And he was trying to be shocking and whatever. And he's like, oh, yeah, I mean, I'm not racist. You know, I don't call black people coons, but Howard loves it. He loves calling black people coons. He can't get enough of it, this guy. And then he sings the entire song.
Yeah.
You want to listen to that song with me?
Well, he sets it up in little chunks and then has to do the whole fucking thing again.
He talks about little elements of it. And he talks about how he was in the studio talking to him about the song, and they were ragging on him, telling him how bad it was. And then Howard's like, at the break, oh my gosh, you were so good on the air. And John's like, that's what I knew. I was taking off. It's like, what Howard means by you being good on the air is that you were a punching bag.
Right.
They all told you suck and you're a moron
and you
for
took
an hour.
It.
And it was funny.
Yeah.
And it was fun and funny, and you didn't know what to say. And you're like, well, I thought you'd like it. And he's like, yeah, I'm really good on the air. Being good on the air on the Howard Stern show either means you got a giant rack and you can sit on a Sybian, or it means you're like Beetlejuice. You're retarded. Anyway, let's listen to this entire song because, as you know, I don't just write half songs. I've been known to write some songs in my day. And I can't figure out what style of music this is.
Well, there's one thing we can both agree on, and that is he is damn proud of this.
The time signatures are all over the place.
Okay,
on this.
all right.
I can't. Is this prog rock? What's going on in
well,
this
there's
song?
some doo-wop in there, too.
Yeah, I can't figure it out.
Here's a story about a Jew's success. Do-do-do-up, do-do-do-up. He grew up with blacks. His mind was a mess. Poor little Jew boy thought he was a coon. After dancing the horror, he had nowhere to go. Do-do-do-up, do-do-do-up. Who would have thought he'd be king of radio? Hail to King Howard. Howard is the king.
All right, that's some shoehorn lyrics. Radio. Hail to Howard. It's already shoehorn. It's your own song. You don't have to shoehorn anything. This isn't a parody, is it?
Yeah,
this is original music, I think.
It's so embarrassing to listen to.
It's so embarrassing. You sing it on the parts. Why wouldn't you just find the audio and just play that? But maybe that's worse.
I would assume.
Yeah. All right.
Howard Stern.
Oh, that's the chorus.
Yeah.
Catchy, isn't it? You'll be humming that all day.
Scott Muni to a pole, light a match and watch.
All right, let me back that up a little bit. Then there's references to his radio rivals in the song.
Howard Stern. Tie Scott Muni to a pole, light a match and watch him burn. I mean, let's face it, Scott Muni's throat is a mess. Soupy Sales needs an enema and Scott Shannon wears a dress.
All right, that's...
Oh, that was lost on me, but whatever.
Scott Shannon wears a dress?
Yeah. Okay.
Are we making fun of guys who dress like girls now, John?
Well, yeah, I know.
Well, Howard said we'll see ya.
Sorry. Let's start the second verse. Remember, this is supposed to be the theme song. Now, I know I wrote a very long theme song for one of these podcasts. I know. But I don't have multiple verses and choruses like this guy does. This is not how you write a theme song.
Well, Howard said we'll see ya to NBC. Do-do-do-up, do-do-do-up. It seemed they got jealous of his popularity.
Also, you would never, ever... And I didn't even work in radio, and I know this. You wouldn't call out another station on your station, have that be the theme song. WNBC, you can check out what's on there every morning. It's like, why are you bringing that up? That's so stupid, John. It's not. All right.
Jealous of his popularity. Do-do-do-up, do-do-do-up. Now, Howard makes more money than ever before. Do-do.
He's obsessed with money, this guy, even back then. Yeah. He's like, this guy's got a bigger paycheck than me.
Do-up, do-do-do-up. He's the king, great top rate ratings whore. Howard is a slut. He's a rich, ruling slut.
What?
Was that like a Lifestyles of Rich and Famous thing?
Is that what that is? I got to hear that again. He's a ratings whore. Turns into Howard is a slut.
He took on like an affectation there.
Oh, okay, maybe. I mean, he does that Jackie voice for some reason, too.
Do-up. He's the king, great top rate ratings whore. Howard is a slut. He's a rich, ruling slut. Howard Stern.
Second chorus.
Got Muni to a pole, light a match, and watch him burn.
Which is all the same lyrics as the first chorus.
Let's face it, Scott Muni Strode is a mess. Soupy Sales needs an enema, and Scott Shannon wears a dress. That was the song, recorded in my friend Mike Sapone's basement.
Oh, who cares? Like novelty songs, satire, like you would never repeat that because it's all jokes. Keep the next joke coming.
Right, the fact that he did 2 choruses and they're identical to each other, and it's already too long.
What is this, the next music special? What are we doing?
It's that was so embarrassingly bad that I couldn't wait to play it. I can't believe he sang that for his... And we're the only people who know that, by the way. No one else has ever heard this before. We're the first people to know that he sang that song for his audiobook.
Oh, well.
Pretty cool, isn't it?
Yeah, I feel kind of privileged.
I know, me too. It's pretty sweet. I might have to bring that to the regular show.
Well, this is a good time to put in my new evergreen drop that I think should remain on the board.
All right.
Number 7.
They had this ambitious, stuttering gold mine at their fingertips.
Yeah, that's
and
true.
You know he believes it.
Well, I believe he's a stuttering gold mine, yes.
Yeah, we can prove it.
I can prove it. That's fantastic.
They had this ambitious, stuttering gold mine.
Yep, we sure did. Thank you for that. So John tells this story. Again, it's just this weird anecdote out of nowhere where he owed someone $350 for like a rental car. So he went to this costume contest around Halloween because first prize was $500. And then he put together this costume that was like a giant penis. And he won the contest, and then he strapped the penis to the top of his car, and then it fell off the car, and someone offered to pay him money because it was laying in the street, and he said, no, I want to keep it. None of this had anything to do with anything. And then finally he gets to the part where he goes, the next day I go to the radio show, and Meg Griffin, who's the DJ who's on after Howard Stern on K-Rock back then, has John on her show.
After the Stern show, Meg Griffin, who was the DJ on the air following Howard, heard that I won a costume contest. Not knowing what I was dressed as, she asked me on the air, and I said that I went as a penis. She immediately said, oh, man, and directly went to commercial. And this became another soundbite for Fred.
All right, so this is some bullshit. Because he goes, Meg Griffin heard that I won a costume contest. From who? Right. From you. You were obviously telling everyone that you won a costume. Like, nobody else is just like, did you guys see this in the paper?
John, you're still wearing it?
Did you? No one's like, oh, did you see the post? Did you see the front cover of the post? Look at there's John in the costume contest. Right. And Meg Griffin's like, I heard you won a costume contest. I got to get you on my show to talk about this. No, don't tell me anything else.
Yeah.
just get me on the mic and then I'll ask you some questions. And then he said penis. She's like, oh, drop out. This is crazy. None of that makes sense.
Nope.
I'm not buying it. I think what he wanted to have happen was to get on the Howard Stern show and talk about his costume contest. And Howard had better things to talk about that day.
You don't say.
I don't think he got around to that one with the stuttering fuckface on that. All right, so now fast forward, we finally get to the part where John fulfills his duties in life, his destiny, if you will. Mm-hmm. He starts celebrity interviews with crazy questions. And his second ever interview is with a guy named Danny Glover. Mm-hmm. And Danny Glover does not have a good sense of humor. And so John has to improvise. Yeah. This is his second ever celebrity interview. And he can't wait to tell you about how funny he was.
Danny Glover, on the other hand, wasn't as easy. He kept getting irritated, saying that he was there at D'Agostino's picketing that they stopped putting pesticides on grapes. He said that he only wanted to talk about grapes. So then, thinking on my feet, I started putting grapes in every question. Danny, do you greatly feel that Mike Tyson should be caged? He kept getting irritated, but it was funny. With all of my stuttering, I thought I had failed. Little did I know how wrong I was. Howard played it on the air and loved it. They all laughed their asses off in the studio.
They all laughed.
They were laughing at you.
Yeah.
Grapely? That didn't even make sense. Let me play that again. This is how he tries to shoehorn grapes. And this is him remembering the funniest thing he said during the Danny Glover interview.
Danny, do you greatly feel that Mike Tyson should be caged?
Do you greatly feel that Mike Tyson should be caged? What's he going for there? Greatly wouldn't work. Do you greatly feel? That's...
Rapely?
Do you rapely? What? Why grapely? He's like, oh, so he said he wanted to talk about grapes, so listen to what I came up with. I'm like, hey, you know who else eats grapes? Mike Tyson. What a boob, right?
What a boob.
Okay, I guess.
Yeah, he's quick on his feet.
John still doesn't understand what made that bit funny was that he was a mumbling, stuttering prick who couldn't get the words out because he was so nervous and unprofessional. That's the thing that John doesn't understand. He's famous for being unprofessional.
Yes.
Which is the charm. That was why people liked him. And now he okay, whatever. What am I going to repeat myself again?
Hey.
He's going to do a show talking about me, talking about him, repeat myself.
Do not wake up this sleepwalker, whatever you do. All
Good
right?
point. Good point. But we all know Howard Stern did not create John. Now, yes. Did they hire him sight unseen because he was a stutterer? Yes. So it had nothing to do with anything he did in the interview or any talent that he had. And did Howard Stern have the idea to send him out to interview celebrities because he had a stutter? Yes. And did Howard and Jackie and Fred write all of the jokes and all of the questions that would make John famous? Sure. That doesn't mean that Howard Stern had anything to do with John's success.
Years later, when I was asking my general manager, Tom Chiasano, and program director, Stephen Kingston, for a raise, Steve said, well, Howard created you. And I said, no. Years and years of bad parenting created me.
Which is also what Howard says. The irony here is that Howard's whole shtick is his upbringing, his dad calling him a stupid moron over and over again, and how that turned him into who he is. And John goes, Howard didn't invent me. I have a small penis, and my dad is the reason why I act the way that I act. Like, that's even Howard's shtick, you idiot. Jesus Christ. There's nothing original about this guy at all. I love it. It makes me happy. This is his book. He sat down and wrote this on purpose.
Well, I'm connecting some dots here because you asked earlier on, like, does he really believe this? Does he think this way? And he gets shit lodged in his head.
Yeah.
I think that he thinks Howard's beginnings were his, you know?
Yeah. Oh, so listen to this. He's talking about the Ringo Starr interview.
Of course.
Which, when we first did the Stuttering John podcast years ago, I started off by playing that. I said, by the way, I love Stuttering John. Listen to this clip. Some of the funniest shit you've ever heard, right?
Yeah.
So now he's remembering this and he's going, I was the biggest Beatles fan, and I was reluctant to talk to Ringo Starr. He even says, I don't think I clipped it. He even says, I wasn't sure if I'd ever get a record deal if I asked Ringo Starr a crazy question. But Gary Dell'Abate told me, no, you're fine. I'm sure Gary's like, that's not what's going to stop you from getting a record deal, but just go ask the questions. So stupid. So anyway,
go get the apples and potatoes and shut up.
Shut the fuck up, John. Go talk to Ringo Starr.
Yeah.
Dance, monkey, dance. So then he's talking about this Ringo Starr thing, and now John's making it sound like insulting Ringo was his idea.
Look, I'm not saying that it was easy for me to be insulting, but I knew what would be good for the show and would please Howard.
He goes, I didn't even want to ask those questions, but I knew Howard would like it.
He's a sacrificial lamb.
What's stupid about that is that, of course you knew Howard would like it. He's the one who wrote that question for you. He said, John.
And sent you out to do it.
Go interview Ringo and ask him this question.
It's your fucking assignment.
I had a feeling Howard would like it if I did that. Yeah, he told you to.
Oh.
That's what he told you to do. Jesus Christ.
This guy doesn't understand anything.
You should get out here. You should get out here and be like, Carl, I'm just here because I had a feeling that you would like it if I co-hosted. I asked you to co-host today.
How did you get in?
So then we get back into like John's mantras. John has a lot to teach the world about all of his success.
Of course.
My mantra, work hard, harder than the rest, and the rewards will follow.
Work hard, harder than the rest, maybe harder than someone at rest. I've seen John in his working mode. Yeah. He is not a hard worker. He seems to drink every day, starting pretty early on in the day.
Day drinking, you say? Yeah. I wonder what that's like.
It sounds like an interesting idea. We should try it sometime. But I'm not the one running around going, everyone should work hard.
Right.
Like me.
Harder than the rest.
Harder than the rest. I mean, there's people who work harder than Stuttering John. I'm just saying. Just throwing it out there as a possibility. The other thing that Stuttering John likes to talk about all the time is how Howard Stern so greedy. And he never paid anyone any money. And he's got all this money. He doesn't even need all that money. How many mansions do you need, Howie? He says. I never hear him talk about when he was an intern working for no money. An internship on the Howard Stern show meant A, college credits. That's why you do an unpaid internship. But B, he was getting airtime. He was getting that experience. It looks really good on your resume. And if people have heard you on that show or heard of you, it's going to open a lot of doors. So there's a reason why they had unpaid interns. But then he talks about how he was broke.
I had worked for free for 2 whole years, and I was 10 grand in debt from borrowing from my parents. Twice even, Howard gave me a check for $1,000 because he knew I was hurting.
Howard decided, just to be generous, out of his own money, before he was multi-quadrillionaire Howard, too, by the way. I think he was still on just in the one market at this time. He decides to write $2,000 checks to Stuttering John Melendez to help him out. I never hear him bring this up on all these shows where he goes out and talks about what an asshole Howard is. Sounds like he was pretty generous.
Yeah.
Pretty thoughtful. Instead, all I hear is the fucking popcorn story.
Fill me in on that. Yeah, the gift.
Yeah, it was a holiday gift.
Yeah,
the popcorn tin.
Sure.
That he had to dig his hand all the way to the bottom looking for the check. How the fuck would you even get a check in the bottom of a popcorn tin, you
That's
idiots?
a good gag, though. It's just a card.
Funny, yeah, just a dildo in the bottom. God damn it, I'm gay now. All right, let's talk more about celebrity interviews. This is Fred Gwynne. You know who Fred Gwynne is?
Oh, yeah.
Herman Munster. Mm-hmm. Who isn't a fan of the Munsters?
Come on.
One of the best sitcoms ever. It's just fucking funny. And we all like it because of Fred Gwynne as Herman Munster.
Yeah.
And so John gets a chance to interview Fred Gwynne, and his publicist says, you can't ask any questions about the Munsters.
Right.
Which I'm pretty sure anyone who wanted to interview Fred Gwynne at that point would go, all right, well, we'll pass, but nice to see you guys. Yeah. Anyway, so these are the hilarious jokes that John told, or I should say hilarious questions.
Sure.
That John asked Fred after he was told not to talk about the Munsters. Guys, hold on to your hats.
Yeah.
I asked a long string of Munsters questions, much to the publicist's chagrin. How long did it take you to get off that green makeup? How's Lily? Do you sign your paintings Fred Gwynne or Herman Munster?
Dude, I don't get it. I don't get it either.
What's the joke there? Did you enjoy the time that you spent on the set of the Munsters?
Yeah.
How about your coworkers? How were they? Was that fun?
I'm sorry. I mean, you could come up with Fred Gwynne jokes also. I mean, those aren't even jokes.
Nothing about that was funny or interesting. And he's recounting this in his book.
Right.
To say, like, look at how outrageous we were. I was asking Fred Gwynne how much time it took to get his makeup off. Okay.
And he said it was a whole string of
it's a whole string of jokes.
Questions.
Oh, my gosh, he wanted to kill me after that. It was so crazy. John, this is really boring. Did you do anything fun while you're on the radio show?
Yeah, I'm sure Howard didn't say, go irritate and bore everyone, you know?
All right. So then he's talking to Tommy Lasorda.
Oh,
and he loves the jokes. And again, these are questions that he did not write.
Yeah.
But he's telling these anecdotes as if like he's the king of comedy.
Tommy, sit on the bench a lot. Do your roids bleed?
And do you see how he's doing an impression of himself?
Yeah.
That's uncomfortable.
Yes.
Now, I'm not going to pretend I consume a lot of media outside of Stuttering John and Patrick Michael. I don't. But People talking about bleeding hemorrhoids just does not come up anywhere. All I hear about from Stuttering John is bleeding hemorrhoids.
Yeah.
And I don't hear about that from any other source of information.
Well,
it's not a hot topic.
He connected with Stern because of masturbation, and I think he lives in such a bubble that he thinks everyone has bleeding hemorrhoids.
He must think that we all relate to that or something.
Right.
By the way, here's another fun game. Remember how I came up with that amazing game, Spell Albuquerque?
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I have a new one.
Let it go.
No, it's a good game. I have a new one.
Okay.
Hey, we stumped Croge with that one. It's got to be pretty good.
Yeah.
Spell hemorrhoids. That is one I could never get.
All right, let me
first try.
Let me give it a whirl.
Okay.
HEMO.
So far, so good.
RHOIDS.
God damn it. All right, well, that game sucks. Never mind.
Well, when you get old, you
No, spell preparation H. I got that too, Carl. No problem. All right. You're probably looking at the Discord. I'm calling bullshit on that. All right, so this is a bad edit that I wanted to point out, but there's more to it than just that. Listen for the bad edit.
3 times I got this guy. How could he analyze baseball players when he can't even recognize the same jackass that keeps asking him these dopey questions?
He's talking about Tommy Lasorda again.
Yeah.
And the reason why he doesn't recognize you is because you don't matter.
Right.
Baseball players do. Mm-hmm. Some jackoff from a radio station who asks him if he has bleeding hemorrhoids is not memorable.
Yeah.
It doesn't help his career to know anything about you.
Right.
Listen for this edit, though, again.
3 times I got this guy. How could he analyze baseball?
How could he analyze? And I'll be honest. The pros over at whatever publishing company this was, I can't detect a lot of editing on this, but that one was pretty blatant.
Yeah, he is, again, fiercely independent, this guy.
This must have taken for fucking ever to record. I can only imagine.
It's still pretty slurry and saliva-y at times. We haven't covered any of that, and I didn't bother pulling clips because all you have to do is listen to the guy talk. But that must be impossible to clean up.
Yes, correct. There is no button
to dry things out.
There's no shortcut for that. I want to bring down the saliva by like 22% on this track. Can we do that?
Maybe in the future, John.
Maybe someday.
Who are these